Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome to a new installment. I do not bake because I don't, especially not today. Today, we're making apple fritters. All right, so here's our setup. Not necessarily our setup, but our ingredients. So we have our flour, we got our apples, we got our yeast because we're doing a yeast risen apple fritter today. Applesauce, nutmeg, cinnamon, half and half, brown sugar, salt, the good salt. That's the good salt. And we got our powdered sugar for our glaze at the end. We're going to use bread flour today. We're going to need 2 cups of bread flour. Got our, it's not the right thing to measure powder in, but like I said, I don't bake. I don't get it by now. We're going to use two cups of flour, actually 2.5 cups of flour. This is going to be the first one. But before we put it in there, we're going to sift it. Let's get that done. All right, so we got this thingy doing what it does. Then we're going to get our other half cup of flour. So precise. Look how precise. Look at how precise that is. So precise. And we just get that in there like that. Sift it out. All right. In our bowl here, our mixing bowl, we have dry yeast, we have sugar. That is going to be 3 teaspoons of sugar, 2 cups of bread flour. We also have 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. We have 1.5 teaspoons of salt, and then we're going to add 1 large egg, 2 tablespoons of a fat, which is here. Oh my God. It's right there. That's the fat. And then the egg, and then the vanilla from Madagascar. All right, let's get to mixing. And then we'll get to mixing. Dry ingredients first. That's what I heard. I hear they gotta put the dry ingredients together first. They gotta mix up first. Yeah, you don't want a whole pocket of salt. Set that. Our water is ready. Please temp your water. If it's boiling, steaming, it's too hot. Let it cool down. What I'll do is even drop a couple ice cubes in there just to cool it down. Just don't leave it in the microwave for too long. You'll have those problems. So we're going to let that cool down. We're going to add it to that. And then we're going to add these other wet ingredients. Stay tuned. While we're waiting on our water to cool down so we can add it to there so we can get our yeast to start rising so we can add our other wet ingredients, we're going to come over here and take care of the apples. Always make sure there's no sticker, and then make sure that you wash them as well. Get off of there. Paper towel. Throw the sticker in the garbage. Get those apples nice and wax free. As you can see. And then you get them cut. Actually, we need to peel them first. I should have peeled them first. Peel them. This is what happens when you cut it in half first before you peel it. You gotta work magic. You gotta work the magic. You gotta work the magic. Don't cut yourself trying to work the magic though. It's possible. sure there's a smarter way. I just didn't do it. Alright. Peeled. And then we also need lemon juice. Just enough to get it wet. We'll take these apples. I just cut them in half. Simple. Get rid of that. Like that. Get them in the lemons. Half. Get rid of those seeds. Like that. Pretty sure our water is cooled down enough now for us to get our yeast. Half. Get those pits. Like that. Get them in that lemon juice. Get that out of there. No pits. I should have showed you that last one so you can see that there's no pits left. See? Look. No pits. There we go. It is for me, so of course I'm using all of my hands in this. Stick your hands in it. Don't let the apple fall. I got one more apple. I think I might use that. Actually, no. We got applesauce. I'm gonna cook these down with some butter and brown sugar. I like to brown my butter first. We'll put them in there. Apple brown butter, lemon juice, and vanilla, and brown sugar. However, our water is perfect temperature. Get that up in there. All right, so we have our butter. It's about to start browning. We've got apples, brown sugar, lemon, and salt. Just a small amount of our pink Himalayan sea salt. Brown butter, flour. We're gonna cover this shortly and let it rise. Just waiting to add our lard on low setting. We probably should have this plugged in though. Yeah, it's a good idea. Could possibly work. There we go. Oh wait, let me show you this. So nice. It's so nice. It's little. Anyway, let's get back to work. On the low setting. Oh no. Get our lard in there. It's spinning. Get our lard in there first. So we can hold the bowl. And then we gotta add a little more flour to this mix. And water. working. Got our apples in the pot. We got our bread dough doing what it does. It should be a little sticky. So I've heard, but it shouldn't necessarily stick to your fingers. So I think we're in a good spot here. I think. If not, we'll find out soon enough. So what this needs to do is get combined a little more. First of all, still a little too sticky. It shouldn't be that sticky. So we'll take a little more flour. Get it in there. We don't want it that sticky, but we do want it a nice, kind of tacky kind of a dough. See, I think. Tell me if I'm right or not. I could be wrong, because I don't bake. But what I do is figure it out. Apples, fingers, dough fingers. Don't worry, nobody else is gonna eat it but me. Alright, so we'll let that rise probably about 15-20 minutes, and then we'll come back. We need to get about half the size. Clean towel, cover, let it sit, room temperature. For the apples, lemon, salt, brown sugar, cinnamon, nutmeg. I usually do cloves and one more thing, but this is not for that. This is for this. So we don't need it. Cinnamon, about 1.5 teaspoons. Nutmeg, even less. Cooked apples, container for cooked apples. Turn that stove off. All right, so honestly, that's the hardest part. The next step is going to be adding our apples to our dough. After it's done rising, we'll fold those in. Then we'll do a little, first, that's not right. First we'll stretch and, shape. Then we'll fold our apples in. Then we'll cut. Then we'll reshape. Then we'll cut again. Then we'll fry. Then we'll glaze. Then we'll eat. All right, guys, here we are. We're back. I've got my freezer. Got my freezer here with plastic wrap on it. There we go. I got my freezer here with plastic wrap on it. And I've got my dough is risen halfway at least. Got my rolling pin. It's necessary. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take this, get a little flour on our hands. We're going to take this dough. Receive it. We're going to receive it. It's a little funky. It's okay. I don't know what I'm doing. Hold on, let's get it into a ball first. That's the recommended thing to do. And we'll take our rolling pin, A little bit of flour on the rolling pin. And then we want to get this out to about, I think it says 16 by 10 or something like that. Kind of like an oval. Want it to be evenly flat all the way around. We want it to be about, I think it said about an inch thick. Maybe a little bit less than that. We'll figure it out. Try not to press down too hard because that would take away the purpose of our yeast. I do want it to have some of those bubbles in there. Right? Swing it. Said it should be an oval or a square. So I think I want to go for kind of a square here. That's a lot. That's a lot of fritter. But, all right. There we are. Right? Right. See? All right. We'll slide over here. Get our apple mixture. Also, we have our oil and then our candy thermometer. Gonna get it up to 375. 375. Come over here with our applesauce mixture and our apples. And then what we're going to do is get a spoon first. Let's get a slotted spoon. And then we're going to take this mixture, slide it right over here like that. We don't want to cover the whole thing because we need to fold. So we're going to take this, get it in there like that on the bottom half. It says the bottom third, something like that. Bottom third. Apples. Bong bong. We'll take this like that. We'll take that like that. Flap that like that. And then we'll do that like that. See or no? See or no? Maybe not, but we're going to find out. Hold on, need a knife. Take our somewhat sharp knife, and then what we'll do is we'll, like that. Like that. This is where the magic happens. This is how the fritter becomes a fritter. This is how a fritter becomes a fritter. See that? Got those cut, and then we'll take these and we'll cut them like that. We'll take those and then we'll cut them just like that. It seems kind of messy and counterintuitive. However, this is the method for the madness. This is the method for the madness. All right. And then we'll take these things here and then we're going to force them back together. We're going to force them back together. We're also going to take some flour. All-purpose flour. Don't mind me. We'll cover it like that. All-purpose flour, we'll cover it like that. And then we'll put it back together. We want it to be back together. You want it to be back together. It wants to be together. It wants to be together, although it's been cut. It still wants to be together. I don't think we need applesauce. You gotta make sure it's together because we gotta deep fry it. All right. All right, so we've got it back into a log shape, right? Somewhat loggy. So we're just gonna take little balls, little pieces like that. We're gonna cut them and set them on a rack so they can rise a little bit more. But this mixture right here is pretty much, that's the bee's knees. We're good to go. We're going to take each of these. This is going to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll see when we're done cutting it. We're not going to do that. Some might be bigger, some might be smaller. But they're all going to be fritters. Okay? So we're getting there. We're almost there. We're making magic. We're making magic. Okay? And then we take our fritter balls, make sure all the dough and the stuffing stays together. We might have overdid it with the apples, but I love apples, so that's just too bad. We'll have to figure it out. Apples all in that thing. Apples all in that thing. Like that. Like that. Apples all in that thing. Yeah, we might have overdid it with the apples. We're going to have to figure that out. We're going to have to figure that one out. Oh boy. Oh boy. A little flour for me. That's all we need, a little flour for me. Get them sealed back up nice and tight. That one is going to be a problem. I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm doing something. And we going to figure it out. We going to figure it out. We going to figure it out. Apple Fritters. Come get you one. That oil might be ready. I'm going to go check on that. Oh, man, that's a good one right there. That one right there. We going to figure it out. Apple Fritters. We going to figure it out. So the thing is, my wife and I decided that we're no longer going to buy sweets outside the house. That includes cookies, cakes, candy bars, gummy bears, whatever the case may be. No more outside sweets. Ice cream, if we want it, we got to make it. And so I'm an apple fritter guy. I love apple fritters. And I love gummy bears. So I tried making gummy bears. I did experiment for experience on that one. And it turned out horribly. So we're going to try that again soon. But for now, I felt like apple fritters was a whole thing that needed to happen. So here we are. Apple Fritter City, USA. Making fritters for you and me. Yeah. Let me go check on this oil. We should be right at about 375 now. What's it say? 350, almost. I got it on low so I can complete the task at hand. Start it on low first, and then once we get done, actually, I'm going to have to turn it off because these fritters need to sit, and I want them to rise just a little bit more. You know, I want them to rise just a bit more. This is going to be a horrible one here. Apple's coming all out. It's falling all out. All right, so we're going to take these. We're going to set them on some parchment paper, and then we're going to cover them, let them do a little bit more funky stuff, and then we'll get back to the frying in a minute. All right, we got everything cleaned up, wiped down. We'll grab a towel, and then we've got our fritters ready to go. It's been about 15 minutes. Bang, bang. Looking real decent if I do say so myself. Our oil is at 375 degrees. So the next step is the big step. And here we go. Just gonna lay that joint in there like that. We'll try one out first. We'll get our situation situated here on the back. Our oil is still looking good, so we'll wait. And then we'll do a little flippy flip like that. How we looking, chat? That's one fritter. One fritter in there. You know what I did forget though? I forgot my cinnamon sugar on top. But you know what though? I think we're gonna let this one cook. We'll do a little test on it. Come on, man, flip over for me. How about if I use some tongs? It says to go until they are golden brown and looking like that. This is the second minute. Second minute. I'm gonna pop it out. Nope, I'm not. I'm not gonna pop it out yet. I'm gonna let it go a little bit longer. Do 2 to 3 minutes. 2 to 3 minutes. 2 to 3. Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 ding. All right. Let's get to popping this joint out. Let's see what we're looking like. Well, we're going to turn that off for a second. I want to let that cool off first. See what it's looking like on the inside. And then I think I want to do some, I missed a step. I should have some sugar and cinnamon. I think, maybe. Let's see. We'll see how that turns out. And then we'll go from there. All right, let's go. All right, so let's cool down a bit. We're gonna take a gander inside. Nice and crispy on the outside. We don't even need to cut it. Let's see. Yeah, we still need to go a little bit longer. You see how that dough is still doughy there? We don't want that. Everything else looks good though. But we don't want that dough like that. So we're gonna take them about 4 minutes all together. See that dough right there? That's not what you want. We don't want that. We don't want that. We'll drop that tester back in there. All right, so far so good. Good to go. Oh yeah. See those apple chunks in there? Should have done them smaller, but I like apple. So 2 minutes on each side, approximately 2.5 minutes. We're gonna get all of these done. 6, 8, 10, 11, 13, 14 fritters. I'll take care of them. Do a little flippy dip. We did turn the oil down a little bit as well. I don't want them to be as dark. This one came out a little bit darker than I wanted it to be. So turn the oil down just a tad. Let it cook thoroughly all the way through. The hotter the oil, the more it burns on the outside first. The inside doesn't cook. Hence what happened to the last one over there. So about 2.5 minutes on each side. 5 minutes all together. Should have everything thoroughly cooked. Try not to flip them too much too. It's tempting. It's tempting to get down in there and flip it and touch it. Leave it alone. Just leave it alone. It'll be okay. Fight the urge. Fight the urge. Fight the urge. They do look great though. The next step will be making the icing, which is really simple. 3 ingredients. Milk, or half and half, which is what I use. Vanilla, powdered sugar. Oh, the apple's falling out. They don't want to be in there. That's okay. We're going to eat them anyway. Yep. I flipped them, yes. It's been about 2 minutes. This is the other half minute right now. One is darker than the other because it went in there first. So this one is actually probably ready to come out more so than the other one. But because we don't want to encounter another gooey dough ball, we'll let it go a little bit longer. And you know what? I think I should have added the applesauce. It would have gotten in between the dough a little bit better, and then it wouldn't just be chunks of apples. However, we live and we learn, and I think we've just lived and learned. I think I'm gonna drop 3 in there and see how it acts, because I do not bake, but I do fry sometimes. We'll turn that oil up just a tad bit. While it's doing that, it dropped down to 350, so we'll get it back up to 5, and then we'll drop that temperature back down. Got it on 6. We'll drop it back down to 4 in about 30 seconds. Once you drop something into the grease, it automatically lowers the temperature of the grease. So you'll find that sometimes if your grease isn't hot enough and you drop a piece of chicken in there or something, you'll see it start slowing down. Literally, you can see the bubbles stop. When the bubbles stop, that means it's not frying. It's just soaking up oil. Right now, the moisture is being pushed out from the heat, by the heat. Those are the bubbles. It's coming up. If you put your hand over it, you can feel the steam. Just a little quick something. Uh-oh. My temperature. Is hot. Flippy dip. I don't think it's been 2 minutes though. But this one right here is breaking apart. So 3 is clearly too much for this pan. There we go. Drop that temperature down just a tad bit, let it cook. I wonder would it do any better or do better if the dough was cooler before I drop it into the grease. What do you think? How does that work? If the dough is cooler, will it cook more uniformly inside and out? Is that a thing? Does that make sense? What's the science on that? We'll figure it out. I actually should freeze some of these, which is what I think I'm going to do, because it doesn't make sense to make all of these right now. So I'm going to individually wrap these, let them cool down a little bit more, individually wrap them after they cool, and then put them in a large gallon freezer bag. And then when I want a fritter, I'll just pop them out of the freezer, drop them into the grease at 375 Fahrenheit, and then see how that works with fritters from the freezer to the grease. Because I know they do it in the restaurant industry, but those have a lot more preservatives and things that you don't want, that you don't need, rather. So we'll try it out. We'll just make these 5 today. We'll make our frosting, and then we'll proceed from there. Stay tuned. So just like I said, when you put stuff into oil, it drops the temperature down. So this actually dropped down to about 350, which is 25 degrees less than what it needs to be. It needs to stay at a consistent 375, 385 in that range. And when it doesn't, it slows down, and you can see that the dough started breaking apart, because all that happened was, like, I dropped it in some liquid, which is what happened. I dropped it in warm liquid, and it started to split up and break apart. So these might not be as good. These might actually be a little more soggy and undelicious. But we'll see. All right, so the thing is, let them cool. If you like icing on the top, you need to let them cool, because all icing is sugar and milk, right? I got a little, there you go. Sugar, powdered sugar, and milk. I got cinnamon and regular sugar in there too. However, once I whip this up, make it thick, it'll be thick and icing-like. However, when it's hot, all it's going to do is run down the sides. It's going to run down the sides and just puddle up. If this was in a regular plate, you just puddle up down there at the bottom. But you get the point. Let it cool down. The cooler, the better. The more icing will stay. The cooler, the more icing will stay. The warmer, the less icing will stay. Simple. Yeah, my icing look a little funky because I put the cinnamon sugar icing in there. The cinnamon sugar that I dusted them with, I put it in the icing. It's just for me, don't worry. No worries, it's not for you. No worries. When I eat it, I won't think about you, I promise. Still cooling. There's that icing you want. That's what you want when you make icing. That's what you want. Let me show you. Let me see. Are these still hot? If they're still hot, we'll get a perfect example of what will happen when it's still hot. And I actually want to, no, I don't. This is fine. Look, this is fine. This is fine like this. Because I don't bake. So look, see, still kind of warm. So we'll take that, plop, do them like that. Wow, how you like me now? And you see how it's still hot? So it's just gonna run off. So we'll wait till these cool down, and then we'll top them with the icing. So what we're gonna do, like I said, we're going to individually wrap these, and then we'll shove them in a nice big gallon-sized bag, freezer bag, and freeze them. And then when we want apple fritters, when we have that undeniable taste for apple fritters. We'll sashay back in here. I won't. My wife will, and she'll fry me up some apple fritters because I've already done all the hard work. You see it. You see it. You saw it anyway, right? I know you saw it. I was watching you watch me. Don't worry about where the cutting blade is for my wrap. Don't worry about that. It's not on there. So this steak knife works just as well. Correct or incorrect? See or no way? See or no? Sorry, I've been in the kitchen a lot. All my life. Most of my life. Not all my life. Most of it. So I get to talking that crazy Spanish. You know why? Alright, I can't wait. This icing looks too good. Does it not? So we're just going to take these bad boys like so. Give them a little dippy dip. And then get them back in here. We'll probably even come back later and do another dip on them. But they're mine. I'm the only one eating them. Yep, I got a hairband on my arm. It's all floured up. Using my hands, barehanded in fact. Look at this barehandedness. Just dunking and diving. Got my fingers all in it. That's okay. Guess who's eating it? Not you. Oh boy, I'm gonna even take this one right here that I already started biting off of and eating on. Double dip that. Dip that in there like that. Oh. Mm-hmm. I'll see you next time. Wait, you wanna see a bite? Hold on. So, I'll probably never go to Dunkin' Donuts again. Just my mouth look. Dunkin' Donuts will never see me again. Ever. Never, ever.